I have a lovely friend of mine, one of my great mentors, Tony Kronolovic. He's been in my life for 30 or 40 odd years, right, as a mentor. And I hope Deb doesn't mind me saying, right, but Deb has some health challenges. And we were in cannabis, we're having a chat. I talk to Tony quite often. And eventually she started asking some questions about, cannabis and how it can help, etc. We traveled to Europe last year together. And after a week of being in Europe where she couldn't have her meds, she said, Tom, if I ever thought this cannabis thing was just in my head, and by the way, if it isn't, it's working, I don't care, right? But if I thought it was in my head, I'm a week in with no CBD during the day. I'm a week in without having some sort of THC at night to help me sleep. I'm now feeling like shit. My pain is back. My joints are sore. I'm having difficulty walking, right? So this notion that cannabis is the evil drug, that cannabis is the gateway, I think is a fallacy. Let me tell you what is a gateway. Dan, the drug dealer, is a gateway. He wants to make sure that you're moving up through the product curve, right? That's his job. The other thing is non-controlled access to drugs is a difficult thing. So now if you go to Dan, the doctor, you get a script. I don't know, wedding cake was a strain that had been doing the rounds, right, on the illicit market. And you get wedding cake as a script, and you come and see the doctor and you say, you know what, I felt a bit funky, right? Like I wasn't quite right. Like I think I was seeing pink elephants in the room. Okay, wedding cake's not for you. Let's get you off that. Let's get you onto another strain, right? You're in a controlled environment where that can be managed. And go back to the tested piece. If we put a product on the market, it's 20% THC, we have to be plus or minus 20% is the current Australian tolerance, but our customers demand plus or minus 10. So that 20% THC, think of that as your alcohol content in a beer. That 20% THC can be 18 or 22. That's the range.
Yeah, right.
That's the range.
Very
so
small
you
range.
now know every time I have this, it'll perform pretty much the same. And if you get out of that, then it's out of spec. We can't sell that product into there, right? We have to grow it again. So it's a very different world. And I want to make sure I'm being very clear. I am not saying cannabis cures anything. I just want to make sure, right? This is a SASB drug. It's not had the same research, not had the same, clinical sort of research that our other medications have had.